A lot of you heard this. If maybe you didn't because you work for a living, you get a chance to check this out. But billionaire, former mayor of New York City, Michael Bloomberg, who has threatened to run for president so many times, he's like the little rich billionaire kid who cried wolf. I'm going to run for president. I'm going to run for president. You keep it up, you Democrats. I'm going to run for president. Every time somebody says something here like on news or something, I'm going to run for president. So it turns out he might actually run for president. Yeah, man, he's looking at the crowded field. The Democrats like, I'm almost as bad as a couple of these people. Let me look closer. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm a lot more charismatic than John Delaney. Joe Biden's the front runner. Get my jet. Let's fly. Let's fly there and file paperwork. It's only a 20-minute drive, sir. I said get my jet, you peasant. Get my jet. I'm going to fly up there and file my paperwork. So Democrats are wringing their hands and clutching their pearls and whatever people do when they're distraught, emotionally can't handle it. They're drinking wine, Boone's Farm, watching reruns of Dallas. I don't know what they're doing. They're doing something. But they're freaking out, man. Because they don't want Michael Bloomberg running because Michael Bloomberg, you ever had someone just run their fingers down a chalkboard? That's the equivalent of Michael Bloomberg. He talks to everybody like they're being kept after school for detention. But he happens to be a billionaire. He's like, and you with this Medicare for all crap. Don't you want to grow up and be a professional? Has a real life ahead of him? So what you got, Ricketts? Just walk it off. Be like me, Michael Bloomberg, billionaire, former mayor. Sure, the blacks hate me, and the Latinos despise me. Oh, and the Muslims can't stand me. But there are a couple of white suburban moms who just fantasize of having a hunk of good loving like me around. I'm 5'4", lots of fun.
President Trump also making news tonight with his reaction now to news that former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg might enter the presidential race. He's taken steps now. The former mayor and billionaire had sharp words for then candidate Trump, and tonight the president already firing back even before Bloomberg officially decides whether he's running. Here's ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl.
President Trump today dismissed the prospects of a presidential campaign by fellow New York billionaire Michael Bloomberg, offering up a familiar nickname.
He doesn't have the magic to do well. He will not do very well. And if he did, I'd be happy. There is nobody I'd rather run against than little Michael. That I can tell you.
Sources close to Bloomberg say he is considering a run in part out of fear Democrats may nominate Elizabeth Warren, who he believes would have a tough time beating Donald Trump. For her part, Warren suggested Bloomberg would try to buy the election.
I don't think that big money ought to be able to buy our elections.
Bloomberg's move comes amidst concerns that former Vice President Joe Biden's campaign is losing momentum.
I have no problem with him getting in the race. And in terms of he's running because of me, last polls I looked at, I'm pretty far ahead.
John, any indication when Bloomberg might make his decision official?
David, all indications are that Michael Bloomberg has already decided to run for president. His advisors say he is already in the process of getting on the ballot in all 50 states. An official announcement is expected within the next few weeks.
Little Michael. Oh, little Michael. I don't think Trump's worried about Michael Bloomberg running in the race. In fact, it sounds like he would enjoy it. These two rich bastards can go at each other. You know, I think Michael Bloomberg has an overinflated view of himself, which happens when you have a lot of money like that. And I'm not saying that Donald Trump doesn't have that same overinflated view of himself, but one thing is Michael Bloomberg has a past that can be brought up to smash him in the head with. Unlike Donald Trump, whose past was not political, they still had stuff to bring up, but it wasn't it wasn't anything relating to politics. Bloomberg has been sticking his toe into politics for a long time. Not so, and was actually did serve as mayor. And he loves to chime in on issues. So I think he's not. What I'm saying is he can't pretend, he can't play the same role that Trump played, which was, I'm above the fray, I'm not in this crap, I'm jumping in it, I'm jumping in because I want to help the American people, and I want to restore America. Like, you're part of it. You're part of the cancerous lesion on the butt of America. Like, you help put the lesion there. You were part of the apparatus, and then we start bringing up some of your tactics in New York that people still talk about you along with Giuliani. You guys have a checkered past, to say the least. I did find funny that he was saying he's threatening to run because of Warren might get the nomination, and we can't have her running. She can't beat Trump. He ain't stupid. He ain't stupid. But he didn't go with Bernie, so I don't know how smart he is, though, Johnson. Come on, man. Come on, he's act like Bernie's not there. It's like, oh, no, she might win and she can't beat Trump. And she's like hitting back with money, Well, he wants to buy the presidency. Yeah, you'd buy it, you'll buy it too. You ran a bunch of fundraisers for your Senate campaign and just pushed that money in. Come on, man. And then you already say you're going to take dark money as well. So, yeah, he's going to buy it with his own money. You buy it with other rich people's money. It's kind of, isn't that the same thing? It's all coming from rich people, right? Just saying. Pot calling kettle black. Then we got, not to be left out, we had Joe Biden. Now, this is the most hilarious part of the whole thing, is Joe Biden pretending that he's got a strong campaign going right now. Joe Biden's campaign was more impressive before it started actually running. Because as soon as it started running, it didn't take long for it to go downhill. You ever start running and you're running down a hill, you're going really fast, it's really easy to trip over oneself and fall on one's face. Some people will call it a pratfall. Well, Joe Biden's been doing that for about 2 months now. Yeah, he just keeps falling and falling, the never-ending fall. It so reminds me of that joke of Eddie Murphy when Aunt Bunny going down the steps. Oh, no! My shoe! Lord Jesus! Somebody help me! Hey! To that end, to push back against the continuous fall of Joe Biden, with someone we don't see often, Simone Sanders. Here she is on Chuck Todd's Meet the Press, or Be Depressed. Yeah, Be Depressed. That'd be a better name for it.
Senior advisor Simone Sanders, and we begin the conversation there. We heard from Vice President Biden, but he seemed to cite some polls that I haven't seen very much. I mean, in fairness, the campaign is treading a bit of water nationally, and 2 straight polls in Iowa have you in 4th. What do you say to the Democratic hand-wringers and worrywarts in New York and in Washington, which is mostly where this chatter comes from, who look at the Bloomberg candidacy as this sort of in case of emergency type of situation?
Well, thank you for having me today, Chuck. Look, I would say to those folks, you have to look and listen to the voters across America. I believe Vice President Biden was right. We enjoy a very broad coalition of support. He was on the ground to lots of enthusiasm in New Hampshire today as he filed for the first in the nation primary, so we're not concerned. We have said from the beginning that this was going to be a fight for the nomination. I don't think folks believed us, Chuck, so when the polls get tight, people get concerned, but it's always going to be a fight, and it can't be a fight if the polls aren't tight. So we are are in this for the long haul. We have long since said that this race is going to go well into Super Tuesday and beyond. So we're ready for this. We have the resources. And, we welcome Michael Bloomberg to the race.
Are you sure you have the resources? I mean, you had $9 million cash on hand. Michael Bloomberg might spend that every week between now and the Milwaukee convention. And he's coming right for the same group of voters that you guys are targeting. Are you worried it's going to dilute that lane, if you will, and make it even easier for Elizabeth Warren?
Well, Chuck, if the voters that you are referring to are Black voters, white voters, Latino voters, Asian American, Pacific Island voters, folks that are working people of all backgrounds, men and women, that's our coalition. So I'm not sure who the pundits think our coalition is, but you have to be able to build a broad coalition that reflects the depth and breadth of the American people in order to win this primary and to beat Donald Trump. We're the only candidate in this race, anyone that's thinking about getting into this race, and definitely anybody that's in it right now that has demonstrated they have the ability to build that coalition. And to your question about our resources, yes, Chuck, we have the resources that we need. We raised $5.3 million online just in October. So we're feeling good. We know it's going to be a tight race, but we're in this thing to win it.
Poor Simone Sanders. Poor little Simone Sanders up there having to defend the Indefensible campaign, which is a cluster duck of a campaign, a dumpster fire, a quagmire, needs to retire. Not a great look, man. She's earning her keep right now, ladies and gentlemen. There she is earning her keep. There she is having to do some heavy lifting or some small-time grifting. Chuck Todd said, look, you're treading water nationally, and Simone looked like, this is going to be one of these type of interviews where you hit me with real stuff, huh? That's what we doing here. We up here calling me out, huh? We up here, using facts. Simone, you don't know. You're going the wrong way at the wrong time. Simone, you cannot be that oblivious to reality that your campaign is going the wrong way. Simone says they're in it for a fight. They came in expecting to fight. I don't think you did. Joe does not look like a man who came ready to go long distance. Short distances at best, standing still would be preferable. Can I take the car? Get a car around here for Joe. Man doesn't want to walk a flight of stairs. Man doesn't want to walk across the street. Surprised he's not carrying a bag for a bathroom. Listen. And resources. Chuck called it right. He said resources. You know what resources are, Simone. I seen you on Instagram showing you got red bottoms. Well, Biden's bottom is getting pretty red, trying to stay in front. He ain't doing a good job. And yeah, $9 million, you raised $9 million. You have $9 million. The Yang Gang has more money than you. And Andrew Yang hasn't ran for as much as crossing guard ever. And he sure didn't have Barack Obama's name to throw around at every speech. God. And what's all this talk about Joe Biden having this broad coalition? Broad coalition, my ass. You mean soft coalition. Let's keep it 100, Johnson. A lot of people that support Joe Biden will cease to support Joe Biden once they realize that supporting Joe Biden is supporting someone who's going to freaking lose. Yeah. All these let's just take the black pastors at the big churches who are supporting Joe Biden. As soon as they find out that they got their money on the wrong horse, they're going to be moving the cash. They're going to be moving their bets. Uh-oh. Can't be betting on the wrong horse, this guy. Get him out of here. Because Joe Biden the support is soft. There's not a lot of people running around going, I'm excited about Joe. They're looking around going, Joe might have a shot. And as long as this electability, which is basically code word for old white guy could take on other old white guy, that's all it is. Pretty soon they're going to get to Bernie and be like, well, maybe Bernie could do it. Hey, At least he's talking about stuff that matters. Joe gets up there talking about the soul of the nation. The soul of the nation. Joe doesn't even have a signature policy that he's hanging his hat on. Well, look, I'm not concerned about anything. I don't know to be concerned about anything. I know that during my time as vice president in a Barack and an Obama Biden administration, that we were fighting for the soul of America. That doesn't inspire anyone. Somewhere Obama's sitting back. He probably the one who told Michael Bloomberg to run. Hey, Mike. Barack, listen here. You go get Biden and tell his ass to sit down. Go get Biden, tell him to sit down. Hey, I tried to stop him, but he wouldn't listen. Here, go get Joe. Tell Joe. I said, have a seat, Joe. I tried to stop Joe, but Joe wouldn't listen. He's hard-headed that way. So, we're gonna need to, you're gonna need to get that out your head, Joe. So, Mike, go in there and get him. Go get him, Mike. Chop, chop, bring him home. Bring him home. And they said, another thing that Chuck Todd brought up is something that we're all thinking about is this helps Warren. Warren? This helps Bernie, Chuck. They tell you got to keep saying Warren's name. Come on, man. Warren is a manufactured candidate. These people are talking about Warren as if people are running around the streets of the United States going, Warren, 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 Warren. They're not. They're not. But I do believe that Trump would beat Warren. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I just don't believe it. I don't believe that Warren will get it done. I don't believe that Joe Biden's going to get it done. But I think Joe Biden will have a better chance against Trump than Warren. Because he's going to say more slicing things. Like, on that stage, Warren would just melt. Come on, man. She has not shown the tenacity to win, to fight. She doesn't. She loves talking about it. She wrote several books about it. Oh, gee whiz, Tim Black. I'm a fighter. Oh, I'm a fighter. You don't know how this Kentucky gal gets down. Oh, I'm going to rumble in your jungle, Tim Black. You bald-headed Halloween lantern head, milk dud. I get after it with my guys, my brothers who are in the military, and we will take you to school, Tim Black, because we believe in it. So fiddly sticks and candlesticks. And it's not going to work. It's just not going to work, guys. But I feel bad for Simone had to get up here and say, we raised $5 million. Bernie raised that in a good weekend. He raised that in a week. You raised that in a month when you're talking about it. Look, listen. You raising like Eric Swalwell money. He's out. He's been out, right? That's the weird dude. I'm Mr. Awkward. Don't know how I got in this thing. Actually, my kid Dolphin and my other kid Flipper, my baby Cakes Samantha, and I told me to go sit down, and I'm going to go sit down now. Don't know why I'm up here. Thank you. But there's other people I don't know why they're doing what they're doing. So, yeah, I feel bad for Simone Sanders having to pretend that Joe Biden is, bulletproof or something. The only thing about Joe Biden is the coffee he can't drink because he's irregular. They learned that the hard way in New Hampshire. Joe Biden's in New Hampshire filing paperwork. What does that got to do with him being a strong candidate? That proved nothing. Now, I did see one commentator on TV, though I've seen her pretend, pretend that, remember when Kamala Harris, the young man from the Direct Action Everywhere organization for animal rights, went up on the stage to try to get her attention, I think his name, anyway, Christian, I had him on the show. Remember the journalist who made a big deal of it, like, oh my God, I was afraid for my life, but I was more afraid for Kamala. Well, I didn't like that moment, and I didn't like her portrayal and her trying to get her making the rounds on all the networks because Kamala was interrupted by a heckler, basically. her life was threatened. You see that white guy with the bun in his hair? But here she is making a very salient point about Joe Biden. Or about Michael Bloomberg. And yeah, about Michael Bloomberg.
Put his toe in the water. A New York-born guy with a great personal story, started a great American company, a billionaire who was going to be the pragmatic guy who knows how to make things work and run things. He got a very rude welcome when he even toyed with the idea of entering this race.
Well, I have to tell you, Willie, I'm glad that Bloomberg is considering running in a Democratic primary rather as an independent. That actually is good news, as we saw with Howard Schultz, which is what you were kind of alluding to there. Look, this is going to be an uphill battle for Bloomberg. Look, you could have all the money in the world, but doesn't mean that you have a strategy. Doesn't mean that's strategic. Look, when you look at the field, and if he does jump in, yeah, he's going to be hurting Mayor Pete. He's going to be hurting more like Amy Klobuchar, like Guy was saying. And he's not going to take votes away from Warren. He's not going to take votes away from Bernie. And earlier, Willie, you were saying back in Iowa, back in March, he was thinking about running. He didn't. Well, there was a poll in Iowa that came out, and it was done by one of the best pollsters out there. And it showed that he had one of the worst favorability amongst all of the Democratic candidates. That was back in March. So I don't know if, and I remember, this is a Democratic Party. This is a Democratic base. I don't know if they're pining for another billionaire.
Yeah, you got it right there, lady. No, they're not pining for another billionaire. They never were. Look what happened to Schultz. Starbucks guy who entered the race became a laughing stock. No one paid attention to him at all, unless they were making jokes about him. A waste of time. A horrible demonstration. It was lame as hell. It was like we went to see, a tour of professional artists, and we ended up watching the elementary school, band or something. It was ridiculous. And no one was into it. No one was feeling it. People were there because they felt they had to be. They felt committed, like they were responsible to be there to listen to this. But it wasn't enjoyable. Nothing Schultz said was enjoyable. Well, that's only half of how bad Michael Bloomberg will be. Because Michael Bloomberg thinks he's like cocky, arrogant guy who actually was a mayor for a second because he brought a job there. And he thinks he has something to say. He thinks people should actually listen to him. Schultz was always like, excuse me, I would like to interject. And they were like, sit down. He was like, well, I guess I'll sit down. I could interject later. But Bloomberg's going to be like, I got something to tell you. I got something to tell you, working stiffs, you scumbags, you losers, about how it's really going to work here. Me and my raiders, corporate raiders, are going to come in here and we're going to raid the country, raid the earth of all its resources. You're going to like it. Oh, you're going to like it. I've started this all from scratch. I'm a self-made man. Gretchen, put the battery back in my back. Thank you. I'm a self-made man. He's he's one of those characters, he's probably going to have his body cryogenically frozen. And hopefully he could be rebirthed or relifed or doppelgangered or something 100 years from now. The same commentary she gives on this is what I gave you last night. She watched my show when I talked about the only person Michael Bloomberg is going to take votes from is Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, Joe Biden. This helps anybody on the left. And when we look at the left, all I see is Bernie Sanders. All right, guys, we're about to do this live. Metro Music Hall. All right, first of all, I burned all my Kanye CDs. And right there was a black cat. My brother! I'm not black. I am African. I'm here on studies. Yeah, man. I got the kush though. You guys got some great fucking weed, I gotta tell you. Okay, he has to lie. He doesn't know shit. Mudslides, dude. Mudslides. Damn, I'm having fun with Pittsburgh, man. It's a lot better than Charlottesville. Right? For the record, slavery was not a choice. But being a dumbass is. Well, where are you? I'm in Portland. Tim Black, you in Portland? There are black people in Portland. What the fuck are you doing in Portland? Did you enjoy that content? I know you did. You got great taste, Johnson. What can I say? Become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack today right here on YouTube or go to patreon.com, Tim's Take Live, and you'll get free stuff, special stuff, secret stuff. Do it today. Wolfpack.